Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you're here live because you knew I was going to be here tonight at 6:30, I'm happy to have you with us. If you weren't able to see me live and this is a recording, I'm happy you're taking the time to be with us in any way you possibly can. I'm excited about what I'm going to talk about tonight because it's an important key that can move you from one place in your grief to a more desirable place in your grief. At least that's what it did for me. So my hope is you will find value in this time that we're spending together tonight. If you do, please share the video so other people will know. And if you want to tag some people you know specifically that would benefit from tonight's conversation, that would be great too. I can see your names coming up. Again, welcome. I'm Tom Zuba, for those of you that don't know, and I'm a life coach. I work with people one-on-one using primarily FaceTime. I have clients all over the world. And 10 years ago, hard to believe, 10 years ago, I wrote this little book called Permission to Mourn. Permission to Mourn, a New Way to Do Grief. And it's available at Amazon, and it is probably selling more copies today than it did when it first came out. So to all of you who are helping spread the word about this tiny little book, I appreciate it. If you've known me for a while, even if you've listened to my lives these last couple of weeks, you've heard me say that words have power. Words have power. And I try to be very conscious about the words that literally come out of my mouth. And when I was writing the intro to this book, I thought about this long and hard, and I very carefully chose these words. I am an ordinary person. I'm going to say that again. I am an ordinary person. I am just like you. As I reflect back, I have lived through what I consider extraordinary circumstances. I am living with the death of my 18-month-old daughter, Erin. I am living with the death of my 43-year-old wife, Trish, and I am living with the death of my 13-and-a-half-year-old son, Rory. I'm an ordinary person. I'm just like you, but as I said, I've lived through and with extraordinary circumstances. When people say to me, "Oh, you must be so strong." No, I am no stronger than you. I am just like you. But what I've noticed along the way is that I have made different choices. I have made different choices. Not at first. Not at first. At first, I made the same choices that we all make. And most of us make those choices on a conscious level, but also on a subconscious level. But what I noticed that the choices I was making at first were creating pain on top of pain on top of pain, on top of pain. I decided to make different choices. because it was clear to me that I had suffered enough. I had suffered enough. So I made different choices. And I promise you, you can too. You can too. Awareness is the very first step. We can all make different choices. And I know some of you whose names I'm seeing, you've been with me for a long time. And you continue to make different choices. And your life is unfolding very differently than it was unfolding during those first 6 months, that first year, those first 2 years. If that is true for you, put a comment in there. So it's not just me sharing this. People will go, oh, this person agrees, this person agrees, this person agrees. We can make different choices. Along the way, I discovered what I call a new way to do grief. A new way to do grief. And that's why I wrote this book. That's why I'm doing these Facebook Lives. My intention is to share everything that I've learned with as many people as I possibly can, so you don't have to suffer as much as I suffered. That's my hope, that's my goal. If you listen to the videos from last week, you know I consider grief and mourning two different things. Grief is what occurs inside of us. It's automatic and it's internal. Everybody grieves. Particularly in these uncertain times, everybody is grieving. Mourning is when we can identify what's going on inside of us, when we're willing to feel all those feelings and emotions, and we push them up and we get them out. Mourning is a path to healing. I want to say that again because it's important. Mourning is a path to healing. Not everybody mourns. Not everybody mourns, so not everybody heals. And as I said, and I'll say it over and over again, words have power. I don't believe healing is a destination that we arrive at one day. Rather, I believe healing can become our way of being. It's definitely my way of being in the world. I consciously do things every single day with the intention of healing. And I am okay with that. I am okay with that. So in order to mourn, we have to feel. And as much as this may surprise you, feeling our pain, being conscious of our pain, not numbing ourselves by drinking or by eating or by taking whatever pills or by smoking pot, weed, or by numbing ourselves by watching television show after television show after television show. Allowing ourselves to feel is the first step. It is the first step. Why? Christy just said, grief does not need to be crippling. It doesn't. It can be a teacher. Yes, yes, yes. We can choose peace over pain. Absolutely, absolutely. When we allow ourselves to feel our pain, and if we're willing to dive deep into it, we should ask ourselves, what belief am I holding on to that is creating this pain? What belief underlies this pain? The pain that we experience in and through our grief is rooted in beliefs. It's rooted in beliefs. I'm going to give you an example. A couple of days ago, a friend of mine posted, "We don't just lose them once, we lose them every single day." I'm going to say this again. We don't just lose them once, we lose them every single day. I was stunned that she posted that. And I'll tell you why. Because, and I thought about this, but my response was, if I believed that, I would have killed myself many, many years ago. If I believed that I had to live through losing Aaron, Trish, and Rory every single day for the rest of my life, I would have killed myself a long time ago. Words have power. Words have power. That is such a painful belief. I don't feel like I lose my beloveds every single day. I know where they are. I know where they are. I make the conscious decision to move towards them, to grow closer to them, to bring me with them, to bring them with me, to talk to them. That's one example. That's one example. I want to give you some other examples, and this is from chapter 14 of the first book. And the chapter is called Words Have Power. Words Have Power. I'm going to read some beliefs, some of which I held, some of which you may hold right now, and I'm going to give you another way to look at them. I'm going to see if we can shift our perception. To me, these are painful, painful beliefs. And my hunch is you've thought some of these, you're still thinking some of these, maybe you're thinking all of them. The first one, his life was cut short. His life was cut short. Or her life was cut short. That's a painful belief. Have you ever thought that? Or maybe you think that now. And again, there's not a right way and there's not a wrong way. There's your way. And my hope is that I can expand your vision and I can give you something to think about. I can plant a seed and maybe you'll decide to move in another direction. So that first belief is his life was cut short. Her life was cut short. Next belief, and I hear this frequently, she was taken too soon. He was taken too soon. They were taken from me too soon. He was taken too soon. My response is always, who or what do you believe took your beloved? Who took your husband? Who took your wife? who took your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, your best friend? Who is doing the taking that's causing you so much pain? Another belief. I was robbed of so many wonderful years with him. I was robbed with so many wonderful years with her. Or we can shift it a little bit. My beloved was robbed. My beloved was robbed. She'll never get to see her children grow up. She'll never see her son get married. She'll never see her daughter graduate from high school or from college. I was robbed. That's painful. That's painful. Another one. I will never forgive myself. I will never, ever, ever forgive myself. I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. I could have done this. Why didn't I do that? I will never, ever, ever forgive myself. Are any of these ringing true? Are they stirring up a belief in you that is causing you incredible pain? If they are, and if you're comfortable sharing that belief with us, either that you hold now or that you held in the past, I know you would speak to someone else. I know there's someone else that will read what you have to say and think, me too, me too, me too. I never got to say goodbye. I never got to say goodbye. How could I possibly be at peace? I should have been there. I should have been there. I will never, ever be at peace. Remember, I said words have power. If you believe you will never be at peace, do you know what you're going to create for yourself? You will create a life where there is no peace. There's no peace. She shouldn't have suffered this way. This is not fair. He shouldn't have suffered that way. Life isn't fair. It shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't have suffered that way. Did you believe that at one time? Do you still believe that? He is gone forever. She is gone, gone, gone forever. Where are you on your own journey right now? How much of this rings true? If you allow yourself to feel, and if you're really, really honest, I can see from the comments that this is true for many of you, if not most of you. This is the way we do grief. When we're honest with ourselves, and when we have decided that we've suffered enough and we want to move into a different place, then we can begin to question these beliefs. And we can ask ourselves, is this true? Is this true? We begin to heal when we identify a belief that causes us pain. That is the first step. And I want to remind you, I don't believe healing is a destination, but I do believe healing can become our way of being. We can heal a little bit more each day. So the first step is, after we allow ourselves to feel, we identify a belief that causes us pain. And the second step is asking ourselves if this belief is true. Is this true? Can you be 100% certain that this belief is true? Now I'm going to go through those beliefs that I shared. His life was cut short. Her life was cut short. That is painful. That is really, really painful. What if my 18-month-old daughter, Erin, what if my 18-month-old daughter, Erin, lived the perfect number of years, 1.5, the perfect number of months, 18, the perfect number of weeks and days and minutes and seconds? What if that is true? What if I chose, and it's a choice, to believe that my 18-month-old daughter, Erin, my 43-year-old wife, Trish, my 13-and-a-half-year-old son, Rory, died and lived the perfect amount of time? I believe that. I believe that. And that creates incredible peace for me. I don't believe that their lives were cut short. The second one was, she was taken too soon. He was taken too soon. Again, who took Erin? Who took Trish? Who took Rory? Who took your beloved? If there is a force powerful enough to take our beloveds, why would they take them too soon? If there's a force powerful enough to take our loved ones, to take your son, to take your husband, take your wife, take your daughter, why would they take them too soon? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Sue said, how do we make ourselves believe our loved ones live the perfect amount of time? We don't make ourselves. Everything we believe is a decision. It's a decision. Every belief you hold, you have decided to believe that, either consciously or subconsciously. So Sue, to answer your question, we decide to believe that. We decide, I'm going to move from now on, I'm going to move in the direction of peace. And I am going to decide that my loved one lived the perfect length of time. I'm going to decide to believe that if there's a force powerful enough to take my beloved, why would that force take my beloved too soon? Why would that force take my beloved at the wrong time? Next belief. I have been robbed of so many wonderful years with him. I have been robbed with so many wonderful years with her. What if you were given the perfect amount of time to spend with her? What if you were given the perfect amount of time to spend with her while they were in their physical bodies? And the gift now is for you to continue to spend time with them in their spirit form. as I've said, the relationship continues, and each one of us determines what that relationship looks like and feels like. That's a gift that we've been given, to decide that our relationships continue. This one I'll never, ever understand. I will never forgive myself. I will never, ever, ever forgive myself. The question I ask is, why not? Haven't you suffered enough? Haven't you suffered enough? Can you love yourself? Can you love yourself enough that you forgive yourself for whatever you believe you did or didn't do? Can you forgive yourself? Next belief, I never got to say goodbye. How could I be at peace? I should have been there. I should have been there. Why can't you say goodbye right now? If it's important to you to say goodbye right now, say goodbye to their physical essence, but in the same breath, say hello to their new form, their new spiritual form. Say goodbye if it's important. Say hello, one breath after the other. And remind yourself that the relationship continues. The relationship continues. Next belief, she shouldn't have suffered that way. She shouldn't have suffered that way. This is what I want to ask you. And again, it goes towards your belief. Is your beloved suffering now? Is your beloved suffering right now? From the place where they are, wherever you believe them to be, is your beloved suffering now? And from that place, do they even remember their suffering? Are they dwelling on their suffering? Like you, do they relive their suffering over and over and over again? Is your beloved suffering today, right now, in this moment? Yes or no? What do you choose to believe? And then the last one that I shared was, he is gone forever. She is gone forever. And I would ask you, really? Are our beloveds really gone forever? It goes back to that post my friend shared. Her belief, we don't just lose them once. We lose them every single day. I don't believe that. As I said, if I chose to believe that, I would have killed myself a long time ago, because the pain that I would have caused myself would have been so great that I would have had no reason to continue to live. So again, I do believe that healing is possible. I don't believe it's a destination. I believe it can become our way of being. It can become our way of being. And one of the tools that I'm offering you is to notice when you feel pain and to sit with yourself and identify the belief that is under that pain, that is causing that pain, that is the root of that pain. And then ask yourself, is this true? Is this true? So healing occurs in a safe, sacred space. It occurs in a safe, sacred space where we can feel seen and heard and honored exactly as we are. We can feel seen and heard and honored exactly as we are. That's what I try to do on my Facebook page. That's what I try to do during these Facebook Lives. That's what I do when I coach people one-on-one. If what I'm saying resonates and you want to dive in deeper and you're interested in working one-on-one with me, send me an email. It's tomzuba@aol.com. tomzuba@aol.com. And I'd be happy to share the details with you. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has given you something to think about, something to journal about. I hope this has expanded your view. Maybe it's reminded you of something that you've heard me say before, but tonight you were able to really, really take it in. That's my hope. That's my prayer. Feel free. The video is going to be posted on my Facebook page. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. Share it with people you know. If you have a grief buddy, a grief partner, tag that person. Discuss it with them. Okay? I'm going to be live again this Thursday. It is March 27th. I will be live at 6:30 p.m. Central. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you saying yes. Your saying yes is moving your energy in the direction of healing. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Okay? Take really, really good care of yourself. And I hope to see you this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Central. Okay? Good night, everybody. Take good care.